this live monologue, or I don't know how live it was, but pretty damn close, comes on the heels of the news that Fox Sports is closing in on making a deal with Barstool, which would add Dave Portnoy to Fox Noon Big Kickoff, and would also add programming on FS1. And obviously, we know the news this week. 3 FS1 shows wiped out. Joy Taylor and her show with Paul Pierce, which I watch that once in a while. Like, I just love Paul Pierce. And so he's always fun to listen to, but it was kind of like whatever. I didn't love the show. Joy Taylor is certainly very talented. And then the other shows, I didn't even really know what those were. Breakfast Ball, The Facility, I never got an opportunity to watch. I didn't watch. They could have been awesome for all I know. They were not on my radar at all. And we've seen this more and more lately overall in the world of television and broadcast. Like, these studio shows are high-value propositions for broadcast networks like Fox, like ESPN. And the unfortunate part, personally, about these shows getting whacked is that 70 to 80 people behind the scenes lost their jobs at Fox, which sucks, right? But it also gives you an idea into the money that's put into getting these shows produced, right? And the beautiful studios. And Fox has a ton of money, and they have never been shy to spend it. But I think they are ready to make a change now. And the change will come, more than likely, if this deal gets done, by taking – and so you've got 3 shows, right, on Fox, which is by no means considered like a liberal or woke network. But it is a bunch of like former athletes and Joy Taylor, who we all know where she stands on just about everything because she tells us. And that's fine because that's what she wants to do. And that woman's going to land on her feet, whether you like her or not. But they're going to replace those shows, right, with folks like Joy Taylor, with a bunch of white guys from Barstool, like a bunch of bros, right? Like, and so like to me, it definitely signals like a shift a little bit, just back towards the way it kind of was. And I'm not saying we need to go there. I'm not saying it's a destination for me, but it's very clear that we're seeing this circular move in society, right, where we're kind of going around again. And ultimately, I can predict, and I'm not Nostradamus, that will eventually go too far, right? Like Dave Portnoy and Barstool taking over a major cable network that is Fox. I don't know that that's necessarily great for the overall general public. I know it'll be entertaining. And I think Portnoy is not only super talented, but super smart. And Scotty, I'd love to get your opinion on this because I kind of know it already. But here, let me give you this point that I have around this situation and around Pat McAfee and Dave Portnoy and why they're more similar than they are not alike. And here's what I mean. They're both extremely charismatic, right? They're both electric guys on camera. They're very opinionated. Portnoy way more than McAfee, right? McAfee more wants to have a good time. Portnoy wants to be heard, and he does want to have a good time. But Portnoy is so smart. So smart. And look, I will say it again, like, watch your toes, name drop here. Like, I knew Portnoy when he was 19, 20 years old. Todd McShay, my roommate at Richmond, a guy who I worked with, a guy who's been on this show. Him and Portnoy grew up, both went to Swampscott High with another dude, Peter Woodfork, who works for Major League Baseball, is like running the show there. There's like this one guy, Traeger DePietro, is like one of the best artists in like the United States. Like, I don't know what was in the water. Todd Klein is running like a professional soccer team over across the pond. I think or maybe he runs that Tottenham Stadium. There's like 4 or 5 guys from that class that are like ballers, okay? And they were all super close. So like I said, I've gotten into Portnoy through McShay a little bit back in the day. I haven't seen the dude in literally 20 years, since McShay's wedding, like 15 years ago. But he was super driven, super cool, funny, always opinionated, like 100% not a bad guy. I haven't checked in with the guy over, many years, but like a good dude. So I don't think like Portnoy wants us to think that he's this loose cannon that will do anything. I can promise you he will be on his best behavior on the set on that big noon kickoff show at Fox, just like Pat McAfee is. Like if you notice, Pat McAfee does have the Pat McAfee moments on that show where it's clear like he may sort of grab the reins and take over. But more often than not, he defers until it's his time. And when it's his time, he's such a performer, he's able to take full advantage of that moment. And I think Portnoy is very similar in that regard. I don't think he'll be out of line. I don't think he'll be showing up like drunk and on drugs. I just don't believe that. Now, Scotty, I know you don't think. You think that, or you have your own opinion. Let's just put it that way.
I sent a few texts to a few folks about this news yesterday, and not one person thinks this is going to go well that I texted. My very small group of people I texted. We all think this is going to be a disaster.
And just to interject, my thing about, I think it has the potential to go the most well on the programming side with those daily shows that Barstool will have on there. I think that those could rate really well and change the game. I don't think Portnoy being on Fox Big Noon Kickoff will make a bit of difference, ratings-wise. Go ahead.
Okay. So let's acknowledge the elephant, which you kind of already did. Fox is only doing this because ESPN has had tremendous success with Pat McAfee.
Yes.
And you just named all the reasons you think they're similar. I think they could not be more different. For one, Pat McAfee has credibility because he played in the NFL. Like that dude, everyone that plays football knows this guy's legit. And I mean, you've even heard like Ryan Clark talk about it on ESPN of like, punters aren't football players, but Pat McAfee's kind of a football player.
And he was a really good punter.
Like he has a great reputation with anybody who's played football. He knows the game. He's got that whole crew that knows the game. Like he is actually the ex-athlete who's very knowledgeable. Portnoy is not. I think Pat McAfee, you used the word entertainer. I think that is first and foremost how he sees himself, even when he was a football player, right? And he would do the walk and all the stuff. Yeah. He is an entertainer. That's why he's a fit at WWE. Yeah. That's why he's a fit on College Game Day. He is not Lee Corso, but he is a fit in that show for the same reason Corso was, which is I'm here to entertain people through the football coverage, right? I think Portnoy sees himself as a mogul, and rightfully so. He's scrappy, he's business savvy. He built Barstool into something massive.
Dude, when I knew him,
with his
he
work,
was walking around Boston with like flyers, dude.
So that's my thing. Yeah. And I respect him for it. Like, I don't like the guy, but I respect his hustle. I respect what he's done. But I cannot believe – so you were comparing the two. McAfee sees himself as an entertainer, and I think, he's got nuts of steel when it comes to like – when ESPN tried to get him the first time, he's like, okay, I'm keeping my show on YouTube for free. And they were like, no. And then 2 years later, they came back and they were like, okay, yeah, it's worth that, right? And so then he comes into College Game Day and he's willing to listen and be direct. I cannot see, and I could be dead wrong, I cannot see Portnoy being on set of a traditional studio Fox show taking orders from anybody. And I watched him 3 weeks ago cuss out a guy that he employs when they start talking about anti-Semitism and blah, blah, blah. And
Craig Minahan. That's
he
Cam's
starts
guy.
dropping F-bombs and I'm in charge. I pay you. I just cannot see him if a director's in his ear on Fox Big Noon Kickoff going, hey, man, we got to go to break. Hey, dude, no, don't touch that. Hey, I cannot see him stopping. I just don't think he can. And I would love to be surprised. But I told you kind of in jest before the show, Reggie Bush might walk off that set week 8. Like, I just can't see how Portnoy is a team player in that environment. Now, if it was just let's buy 2 Barstool shows and put them on the network, I'm with you. Yeah. Fox should know what they're buying, and that's Portnoy's production. Great. I think that makes sense. I think you start putting him on traditional shows like McAfee does, I think he's going to create issues.
I think he'll surprise you. And
I'll admit, I'll be the first to go, man, it's working. But
Well, I don't think the behavior or the camaraderie will be an issue. I think that the content and what they get out of it will just be like, because when I'm watching a college football pregame show, I want to know who's going to win. I want to know, like, it's a pregame show. Like, tell me about the games. Like,
Yep.
take me inside. That's a one time where, I'm totally cool with guys like going X's and O's and
Right.
and all that stuff. And I think Portnoy will probably fit in well when it comes to betting and gambling stuff.
Yes.
But I believe he'll be on his best behavior, and I don't think that he'll be bucking.
And let's be clear. I've envisioned this as he's like McAfee, where he's on set. They might do something different. It might be that it's cut away to Portnoy on gambling or on the odds, cut away to Portnoy for this like goofy feature.
Yeah.
If it's that, I could see it working.
Yeah.
But if it's I'm going to sit on set with Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart and pretend like I'm a football analyst, he and Pat are different stratospheres, dude.
Yeah.
Pat did it. He has the respect of the guys that did it. He knows football.
Yeah.
I don't have that opinion of Portnoy at all.
Well, and it's funny, right? Like we're seeing this happen where like for a while we talked about pregame shows. They're just lame. What's wrong? Something's happened. There's 9 guys on ESPN's basketball pregame show. Nobody can talk. It's like that's been the recurring argument for a while. It's been exhausting. And now there has been a change now to where it's like, okay, we're going to put like a star or somebody on these shows, right?
Someone like Matt Mosley. I have an announcement coming, friends.
That's a great segue.
You keep talking about pregame shows.
That's a great
dude.
segue to a break, but the Baylor pregame show is coming to Rogue Media Network this year, and I don't think Baylor's going to lose a goddamn game, and they're going to have a Heisman Trophy candidate. So you might want to get in on that if you're a local advertiser. Contact Scotty Swingler.